You sit down to do creative work, and then nothing happens. You've had a whole bunch of ideas, a whole bunch of stuff that's there, but the minute that you go to sit down to do it, nothing's happening. And the first thing that goes through your mind is, I must be creatively dry. Things must not be happening for me. I am completely off my game. This is it. I just don't have anything there. I'm going to make a challenge to you today. It's not about your creativity, your ideas, anything like that. It's actually your plumbing. Some stuff is stuck, and we're going to talk about that today. Hi, welcome to the show. This is the Working Creatives Podcast. My name is Kevin Gregg. I am a creative director, producer, writer. I've performed and presented for over 2.5 million audience members in live settings, and I help you get your work done. That's what this show is all about. Glad to have you here. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the creativity that you have and how to get unstuck with that and what's probably jamming you up right now. But before we get into that for our show, if this is your first time here, number one, welcome. Like I said, we do help people get their creative work done. And the best way that we do that is over in my community, which is over on the school platform. It's the Working Creatives community. You can join the hundreds of other people that are over there right now that are on the path to getting their creative projects finished, getting it to their audience, and getting it out there so they start creating income and revenue for themselves. If you feel that there's a calling in your life in order to get creative work done out there and to generate income from this and start becoming a creative professional, join us over the Working Creatives community over on the school platform. We would love to see you there. So it's a big thing that I run into, right? A lot of creatives, when they start doing their stuff and then they just get stuck, right? They feel like they have an idea. They feel like they have a plan, that there's a number of things that are going on in their minds, and then they go sit down and then just nothing's happening, right? Frozen. And several things that might start going through creative's brain are the following things. Well, I need more inspiration, or maybe I just need more time in order to do this, or more motivation, or maybe I need a better setup, right? And then what ends up happening is it's kind of a wrong diagnosis of what's going on, and I'll tell you why in a second. Because then what they start doing is they go, oh, I know what the fix is. The fix is I need to be consuming more stuff. I need to consume more videos that are going to inspire me, or I need to get the right type of gear, or I need to do the right type of stuff. And what it's actually doing when you start doing that, there's a creativity pipeline that you have. And right now what's happening is that because you've had all of these ideas, everything is stuck and jammed. And now what happens is you start going, oh, I know what I need to do is I just need to start adding to this. I need to start adding more information, more lessons, more courses, all of this other stuff, and doing it. And excuse me, what ends up happening as a result of this is that you just get even more completely stuck and overwhelmed with this. And I get it. Like we're looking for action. But what I'm going to be talking about here today, excuse me, my throat's a little bit croaky today. I don't know what's going on. Why don't I drink a little coffee? That'll help. But the thing is this, it's really about taking the right type of action. If there is an incentive to want to go, well, I need to do something about this, your instincts are right. Just what is it that you're reaching for? I'm just thinking about this as I'm talking about it right now, right? It's like, you know that you've got, I'm going to give you a perfect example of this. When I was younger, God bless my mom, she would have these moments of, like, as I was doing my stuff, she'd just go, oh, we'll just take a Sudafed. Right? So Sudafed was a little antihistamine or whatever. But there's other things that are going inside the human body. So even though I would have consistent runny noses or colds or whatever that stuff is, it wasn't just about, it's not about reaching just for an antihistamine to take care of that stuff. It's about, are you getting the right type of rest? Are you eating the right type of foods? Are you exercising correctly? Those type of things, right? So it's really about like, in that situation, sometimes we reach for something that we think like, oh, well, this will be the fix. This will be the magic pill that will solve it. Instead of reaching for a magic pill, what will tend to happen with creatives is that they reach out and they just go, well, I just need more information, or I just need more stuff to help me. And if I get this more stuff, it's going to do it. And really what's happening is that if you're looking at it like a pipe, all you're doing is just adding more stuff into that pipeline, and you're just jamming it up more. And what's causing it is the other stuff that's in there is getting like jammed up, right? The solution that happens with this is getting really, really clear. And let me describe for you what this jammed up pipe looks like, right? It's filled up with what I call a lot of these maybe projects. Well, maybe I might work on this video idea that I've had. Or you know what? Maybe I've had this idea for this short story that I've really wanted to do for a while. Or maybe I've been really wanting to kind of get out there and do some more videos and speaking stuff. Or maybe I should start teaching classes, right? So we start thinking about maybe, and guys, completely justified, right? Because we hear it in terms of businesses. You're trying to incorporate more business into your creative work. Yeah, you're trying to get diversified projects and streams coming your way. But the problem is this: if you're not seeing something through to the end and getting that one thing up and running, or getting it out there and getting it to your audience and getting it monetized and getting money coming in, well, now all you've got is just a bunch of projects that are in the developmental stage. And if you just have a whole bunch of projects that are just in the developmental stage and not reaching the very end of it, you need to find out what that process is. What is it when I'm seeing something all the way through to the end and getting it out there and kind of having it running? And once that's running a little bit to go, okay, I'm going to get that running, and now I'm going to add something else to my diversified stream to see that project all the way through. So I think that that's the issue that happens. We start thinking like, well, I need to make sure that I have all of these ideas, and I think that we're getting jammed up at the developmental ideation and creation stage. And so because stuff isn't moving, right? Because we've got all of these things happening at the same time, and because they all get stuck and because they're all not moving, we immediately think, oh, it must be because I've got a lack of information or a lack of gear or all this other stuff. So let me pile all this stuff up on top of it. And, listen, and it can lead to all sorts of stuff. It's too many ideas. It's not a blessing, right? It's a bottleneck. It's really jamming stuff up. It's tons of open tabs. And now your entire stuff is just clogged with unmade decisions. You have to make a decision at some point. And I've had this before in the past. I've had this with a number of things in the past, where when I was younger and producing a lot of live theater, anybody and everybody would want me for their different projects. Hey, could you do this? Could you do this? Could you do this? And I would say yes to everything. The worst thing that you could say to an actor is like, oh, you'd be perfect for this, right? And you immediately go, that's great. And yet I wouldn't be discerning about which projects I would be in. So next thing you know, I would be stuck in a myriad of different commitments, running to different rehearsals for projects that I would just kind of go, what am I doing here? And also because my time was split, something's paying the price on this. I've had this in other areas of my life, especially as I've been, working on my creative career. You get a lot of potential nice maybe offers, right? Or like things that think like, oh, that could be really good. Let me try and do this. And you spend a lot of time, energy, and effort on something. And then, you've got some other projects that are going on at the same time, and everything just jams up. Instead of seeing, and a perfect example I think to myself was, at one point I was I was actually trying to interview for a regular position at Imagineering. I eventually down the line I ended up doing like contract and freelancing stuff for Disney's Imagineering, but a couple of years before that I was trying to get a regular position in Imagineering. And so what would happen was I was trying to do these presentations and have these meetings, and I was having meetings with a number of different people while I was also working on different shows and trying to do a couple of different avenues, and everything was just kind of getting stuck. And when I ran into an uncomfortable thing that happened, what really just happened was I just shut down with everything. When in fact, what I should have been doing is, even though the connection that I had at Imagineering at the time was there was a downsizing event that happened in the company at that time. She was let go, so it felt like, well, that's it. I guess that's not going anywhere. Instead of me taking the moment to go, hold on, man, see this through. You've invested a lot of time and energy and effort that's in here. If you take one little thread of this and start trying to pursue it with a different person or a different avenue, you might be able to make some headway here. Instead, I got completely frozen and depressed, and it ended up leading to me just being not doing anything for nearly a year and a half and just going, well, let me just do my regular job, and what's the point? And I felt like, I didn't have any inspiration or clarity or anything to kind of keep going with it, right? So the thing that happens in this, particularly when I'm looking at the situation when I was younger in this, you may have a situation that's going on for yourself where you've got like it's idea after idea after idea, and you're just going, okay, this and sometimes, especially as we're trying to get to the other side of it, we have to make a very, very clear decision and really taking a look at what these other projects that are in that pipeline right now and really identifying what is the one that is truly calling to me the hardest and the deepest, right? That this is the one that is calling to me that's saying, there's something here. If you follow this one through and you pull this one through that pipeline, it may take a little bit of while you're trying to develop it and shape it and market it and get it out there and do it. But that's the one that I truly feel like I don't want that one remaining in the pipeline. I don't want that one dead. I don't want that one dead. I need that one moving. And that's what we have to do. We really have to get real clear discernment of going in there and saying, that's the project right there. Like that one, out of all the different ones that are in the pipeline right now, that specific one is the one that I gotta get that one through. That's not the one that can stay in that pipeline. I have to get it out and get it moving through. And what will happen is as you start pulling that through, and so here's my analogy, right? Instead of adding more information and stuff on top, which is clogging it, you're coming up from the bottom side of that pipeline. You're looking up, you're identifying which one is really the one that you just go, this is it, man. This is the one I need to do. And even though it may be unclear about how you're going to carry it all the way through, but that's the one that you start pulling through and start putting your energy and your effort into refining, right? Refining and trying to see it all the way through. And then when you have that shift for yourself to go, I really have to get that done, boom, you will start to see, even though it may feel it'll feel icky and gunky at first as you're bringing it through, you'll start getting a little inspiration because you're seeing some movement that's coming through. And what may happen because of that, you may even get a little bit more clarity about what's the one after it that will be following behind it, right? And as you start doing that, it's just that one little small action that then starts to get the creative pipeline flowing. And believe me, man, for me, it's been like little things like showing up and doing these videos or checking in on the Working Creatives thing. Right now, I'm currently in a class as I'm developing some AI video content, right? But all of these things have their place in the pipeline of stuff that's going on for me creatively so that I can see what the long-term vision is. As I'm focusing and working on this, this also connects to this, connects to this, connects to this, right? So I have a long pipeline of stuff that's going. And then we get to the point of recognizing that, yes, there should be things that are in development at one stage, ideation, and then we start putting them into production and then post-production and getting them out there, right? Then as we start getting these projects getting through, now we start having more of a smoother flow. It's not about jamming the development pipeline. I've got all these ideas and all this stuff, and then just staying stuck in, development crowdedness, right? I've got this idea, this idea, this idea, this idea. That's great. I'm glad that you have these ideas, but you can't be just focusing on the one end of the pipe. You just can't be. You need to be getting it all the way through to where you are finishing the project, getting it towards the end, and figuring out how to get it out to an audience and get it marketed. That's what your goal is. That's what your goal is as a creative. So that's just a little thing that I want to do. It's really about identifying what is that one thing that's stuck in that pipeline. What's that one thing that's in there that identifying all of these different projects that is the one that is calling to you the most, that is saying, hey, if I don't get done, this is really going to hurt me, wound me, and this is the one I don't want to see die. This is the one that I need to see get out into the world. So that's part of the step. This is going to be part of a series that I'm going to be doing in order to really focus on getting that unstuck, getting you unstuck with your creative workflow, right? And I'll be talking about that in a number of these videos that are coming up. But really glad that you're here. If you want to be on that path to getting your work unstuck and on the path, remember, you can always come back and join us over at the Working Creatives Community. Link is below in there. Please, I hope that you do join us. So glad to have you guys with us here today on the show. I will see you on the next one. Onwards, upwards, and God bless you. Bye-bye now.